Alrighty everybody, oh happy day. I hope you're doing phenomenally well. In this video, I want to talk to you about a major obstacle that is probably standing in your way and keeping you from attaining the wealth that you desire selling insurance. Doesn't matter what your widget is. So I'm going to dive into this problem with you, help you dissect it, but more importantly, helping you resurrect the problem into increased profitability. So I'm going to dive into this with you. It may be holding you back. We're going to find out. But before I go into this, jasonfinalexpense.com. I am very blessed to partner, with some of the most amazing agents across this nation. I run a national insurance agency. We sell things like life insurance, Medicare insurance, and annuities, face-to-face, but more importantly, in the telespace. So if you need a good work family to call a home, feel free to reach out, and I'll serve in any way I can, jasonfinalexpense.com. But this one problem that I want to share with you, we're going to kind of unpack it, okay? It's called bias. Yes, bias. And you're like, oh, here we go, right? Well, bear with me here, folks. A lot of agents will find themselves into a position where they're not closing as much business because they're imposing their own bias on others. You're biased in some ways that you didn't even maybe know. You try to sell a policy that's like, let's say, $4,000 to a consumer, and to you, you're looking down your nose at that policy. Well, of course, you're not closing that policy. It's because you're looking down your nose upon that policy like it's, okay, food left in a trash can. It's not that way. You've got to really gain the higher perspective to understand what your consumer, your prospect, okay, this great person maybe wants from you. The average consumer may only want the policy to pay for cremation. Cremation in my area, okay, is only about $1,000 or less event. So if you sold that great prospect who has a problem of worrying about cremation, they want to make sure it's paid for, a $3,000 policy is perfect, but yet you may be like, oh, I'm too good to write a $3,000 policy, or oh, I'm so sorry to have to offer this to you because it's not much. If you have that mental headspace where you have this bias about this policy is substandard, subpar, you're not going to have the same success as someone else that helped that prospect who now sees this problem and goes, wow, Mrs. Johnson, I know you've got, okay, the problem of cremation, and this is what you want. This is what your budget is. Okay, this is an amazing solution. This is going to be the best for you. And they go, yep, and guess what? Now you got a sale. As opposed to another agent that goes, oh, well, I'm sorry. Okay, the best we can do for you is $3,000. You want to buy it? You've got this sometimes bias about the death benefit. Sometimes you've got a bias about the price. This takes place, and it's like a huge roadblock that can stand in your way when you're selling insurance. It doesn't matter if it's final expense insurance. Medicare insurance is the same way. Let the client decide what they want to do. The clients and the prospects are always in control. Give the clients, okay, the best of your professionalism that you can offer, and then help that consumer get what they want. You're now an order taker instead of being an agent that maybe is like, oh, well, I'm sorry, this is the best I got. This is all I can do for you. Okay, so it's very important that as you are serving the greatest generation on the planet, that you're not saying things that are going to push the sale down or put yourself into an environment where your own bias, let's say even towards guaranteed issue insurance. I've seen this happen too. Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of agents will sell guaranteed issue insurance like, well, I'm sorry, I can't get you level coverage, and this policy here is basically a big steaming pile of you know what, but you know what? It's all you got. You want it? They act like they're looking down their nose upon this guaranteed issue insurance, and that's the smell that comes forward when you're trying to help this client fix their problems. It's not about your bias about this. That may be the best product that maybe someone on dialysis can afford. That may be the best product that somebody that has some health hurdles can get a handshake with. Don't look down your nose upon a product. Bring the true value about what the product will do for them, and then let the client decide if that's the best handshake for them or not. It's important that we don't put a bias on how we handle our consumers. Be honest, be open, okay? Be there for them, to guide them, serve them, okay? They've got problems that are uncovered through the fact-finding process, and through those problems that are discovered, you may or may not have a great product that could remedy the problem. And guess what? Now you've got maybe a chance to have a sale which will help you with your production, but you only did that because you helped your client with their problem. Help that client in a way that removes your bias. It'll build you into a better agent, I promise you. It'll be less abrasive when you help your consumers because you're not looking down your nose intentionally, and you may not even realize you were doing this. A lot of agents don't. So I wanted to bring this content to you today. A lot of agents don't realize their own little biases about, oh, that's a garbage product, or oh, that's not enough death benefit, so I'm not going to offer it to you. Or when I do offer it to you, I'm like, it's kind of not much. You want it anyway? We've got to put ourselves in a position where we help the client win. We help the client win because we're doing what they want us to do. And we've also asked them enough questions to make sure that the product is a good fit. If somebody needs cremation, they don't need a $40,000 policy to do that. Now, if they want a 40 grand policy, you know we'll sell it. You want a $500,000 policy, we'll do that too. Okay, we are their humble servants, and it will translate into even more sales. So if you're in a position where maybe you've got a little bit of bias in you and you didn't realize, maybe it was a price bias. Okay, I don't drop below 30 bucks a month. I'll never offer anyone below 30 bucks a month. That's your own bias, and I promise it will bleed into a lack of production and into lower sales. If you're in a position where you're like, this product's garbage, you want it, that's going to get in your way. That bias will now bleed into you, and you will also be harmed with lower sales, lower production, and your client will see it on your face a mile away. So make sure that you're just giving that client what they need. Even with areas, you may not think that someone's going to buy from you for a varying amount of reasons, whether you're face-to-face or in the telespace. Never let any bias keep you from bringing the value to these great consumers. This is what it is all about. Bring the value to them. Let the client decide if it's what they desire or not. And I promise, by you being more determined, by you being more deliberate in everything you do and in everything you say, by you removing, this from you, removing the bias and just bringing more value to them, you will have more sales than you thought possible. So yes, agents can have a biased view of how we even view the products that we have in your briefcases, in your bags, and if you're in the telespace, in the digital age that we're in. This will help you hopefully look past it and accelerate in your career so you can stick and stay. And if you need anything at all, reach out, jasonfinalexpense.com. I appreciate you watching, and I hope this helps.